All right, so I'm gonna play another game. I actually played a game right now with Stockfish Level 2. The only problem was something went wrong with the mic and you couldn't hear my thoughts. Um, just gonna go over the game very quick. But I'm gonna try a new game. So I start off with E4. He plays E5. I play Knight F6, and he plays a Petrov, which is usually something you do as black when you trying to draw because it's very drawish. So I take the pawn. Taking if he takes with the knight, it's a trap. Normally you would want to push the pawn up and force the knight back. So right now I'm up a pawn, so I'm gonna go ahead and trade. And now he's got doubled pawns, but this pawn is not protected. So I was trying to think about like how many different ways I could protect it. There's actually well, there's three really. I could bring the pawn up, but then that blocks on my bishop. I could bring the knight over, but then I have to worry about the bishop coming over and knocking him off. But that's fine if he trades it because I'll just push the pawn up and cover it that way. So I went ahead and developed the knight. So now let's see. I think if I remember, he comes in with his queen. So that means I have two attackers, his queen and his knight, and I only have the one defender, which is the knight. So as much as I don't want to block in my bishop, I kind of either have to move the queen over, which I don't like, or protect with the pawn. So I'm going to protect with the pawn. So far so good. But now he goes, hey, I don't want you holding on to that. He wants to break it up anyway. So if he takes, I take, he takes, he takes. He's going to end up having one more attacker than I have defenders. So I thought about, hey, let me bring my queen over to guard it. But then I had to worry about, well, what if his bishop comes over and attacks my queen? But then I could push the other pawn up. And I meant pretty much forget about castling kingside. But all right, so come here. We're still guarded. This is a waste move. I don't know what exactly he's planning with this because unless he's creating a support point, which is what I'm assuming that's what that was. Support point for his bishop or his knight, but they're going to get kicked regardless, whichever one comes in, and that's actually what it did. So I go, hey, I don't care if you come in, I'm going to kick you. So I go, if I'm going to kick you, I'm just going to go ahead and move my last piece in castle queenside, even though I usually don't like castling queenside, it takes longer. So that's what it did. It was a support point, and I said, go away. So now, so see, this is a loss of tempo because it's taking you two moves to what you could have done in one. So in the meantime, what that means is I got one move, which was the pawn move, and this extra move. So it's a loss of tempo. So now I'm castled. Everything's pretty much guarded. I don't have any pieces here that are basically under not protected. His king is still in the middle of the board. Sorry. Now there is that. There is the worry about, hey, I need to be very careful about defending my b2 square. Right now, the only one that's protecting it is the king, but there isn't any easy way for him to get in because if he's thinking like, hey, I got a queen bishop battery coming down here, that's great, but he's just going to get taken, and then yeah, he opens the file, but that's a big sacrifice. So I didn't worry about that. So I go, okay, I'm up a pawn. Let's just go ahead and start exchanging. Maybe his queen is pinned right now. It can't really go over here if it wanted to, and I want to go ahead and trade queens if I can. So let's see. And if he trades with my queen, I'll retake with my bishop. So he didn't want to go further down. He's already down a pawn. So go, okay, let's just go ahead and trade off the queens. And now his knight is basically frozen. His knight is frozen because he's got to guard that pawn. The only thing is that this bishop right here, my white bishop, is kind of blocked in. It's really not doing anything effective. And then I was thinking, well, wait, what if this pawn, being such a liability, if he wants to like push it and then maybe push this other pawn to come in. So I go, you know what? I'm going to eliminate any chance of him pushing. Oh, actually, I didn't do that. I kind of went for the loose piece, but then I realized I thought he might bring his rook down to kind of keep his eye here still on the b2, but instead he brought it over. So he kind of released the pressure on b2, which was good for me. And I think this is when I played the pawn move, although that kind of does weaken e4. But in return, I do get my bishop getting developed, and then that will link my two rooks. So what I was looking at was bringing the bishop over. He takes, I take, and now I got both of these pawns, and his rook can't cover both. And then if I take one, yeah, I do have to worry about the rook coming over. All right, but then he just made life easy for me by trying to overguard this one. And now this pawn over here is going to be attacked by my knight and my bishop. So the only way to really further enhance it would bring his king over. And I don't think he did that. He just pushed the pawn wildly and go, now I got my options. Which one do I take with? Take with the bishop or take with the knight? And then I thought the knight was better because then that goes after his bishop and I could just trade it, but he moved his bishop. No, he went after my bishop, but that's okay. I'll just, I can just come here, into the middle, and I'm still protecting my knight. He was trying to remove the defender kind of thing, and I can't go back because then, well, I could go back, but then, h4 would have been annoying. So I go, let's just avoid the whole nuance. And I kind of pins his knight also, because if he moves that knight, I take his rook. All right, so now I'm not sure the purpose of that bishop move. So I go, hey, I have a long diagonal with this bishop. Let's just, and then I forgot, I don't remember if I played the knight first, if I played the bishop first to try to trade it. I think I played the bishop first. Nope, didn't. Played the knight. So let's see, I don't think he traded though. He did some other move. All right, and now I realize, okay, I have a problem. He's going after this pawn, which right now is under attack by both the rook and the bishop. So I was thinking a couple different ways to do it. One of which would be to move the pawn up a little, but I don't like moving the pieces in front of the king. They're like my defense. So I go, hey, you want to get through? No. Get the bishop, develop it, trade it off for the rook. But he doesn't want to go for that trade. So now I was thinking, the only thing that's going, well, not after this, but I was thinking, trade here, he comes here, and this might come under fire. So I start setting it up by coming here. So now I'm going to weaken it. I'm thinking about trading this knight off, or trading my bishop for the knight. Now there's all kinds of problems with this move that he's just did. If he plays g4, he's going to do that with check, and he's going to start trading off these pawns, and that's exactly what I don't want. Plus, not to mention that this is kind of, my king's kind of indirectly being attacked by the rook. So I just go, And I'm not worried about his pawn pushing because I got to take out the knight, and if need be, I could play a3 and stop its progression at any point. So now he's this pawn's coming in. I go, no, you've gone far enough. And now I got a lock on g4. He's not going to come in there. So now his rook is coming over. I figure, hey, my other rook over here, he's not doing anything. So move him over. And now, if I move him out of the way, my bishop, it kind of pins. So now I'm thinking, I'm going to take this knight. He takes, and then I kind of remove the pin, but then I realize, oh, it doesn't work because the king gets rerouted. And of course, he just made it even that much harder. To go, hey, I don't want to trade my bishop for that knight, so I'm going to pull it back. Okay, now he gets out, and now I'm looking at this. He's got his rook and his knight on a nice diagonal where my bishop can come in. And now this knight, doesn't have anywhere really to go, because if it goes, I'm going to trade bishop for rook. And then I realize, hey, trade this off, and that pawn gets left alone. So I gain another pawn. Now he puts it under pressure. I'm thinking, okay, where am I going to put it? So I go, yeah, just put it back. I'm not sure what was the purpose of that move. I guess maybe to prevent my bishop to go to e5. So now I'm ahead. I figured, let's just trade off at least one of the rooks. And let me just create a safe square for my king in case, this way it kind of alleviates the bank rank issue. Now he's going after that pawn, but it's got him up by rook. Now I'll go, hey, I'm putting this rook under pressure, and I'm also attacking a5. But I'm thinking he wants to get out of there by just coming over to a8 and guard it, but that's not what he did. Like, this is just dumb. He's just giving up material for no reason. And another dumb move. This bishop doesn't do anything. It's not going anywhere. So, gobble up another pawn. And at this point, I got way too much strength. I do have to watch out that I don't have any, quote, safe squares, because he's got both color bishops. So now what I start thinking is put pressure on this one, put my rook over, but then he guards it, so that's kind of out. And again, I'm worried about discovered attacks. So just get out of the way of discovered attack. His king's coming after my bishop. Figure, hey, let's just go ahead and if he takes on that, I'll retake with the rook. That pawn's covered by the knight, supported with the other pawn. Still good. Guarded by my bishop. You want to trade? Take that one. Now I did make a mistake here, and that I left the knight unprotected, so that was a boo-boo. I should have brought the rook over, and then that pawn move would have been okay. So that was a goof. So, but I'm so far ahead that I can get away with it, but that was really not a good move. And then I realized there's another problem. He can come over to F. Now I just noticed. He can come to F1 and mess up all these pawns. Alright, so now I start pushing. I figure he's got to trade now at this point. He doesn't. He goes after the rook. I go, hey, you want to take the rook? That's fine. I'll take with the queen, and you're really in trouble. He didn't take it. He's trying to hold on to material. Now, of course, this pawn is under attack by my bishop, and now I'm going to bring the queen in. He gets the bishop out of the way because it's loose. But at this point, this is a done deal. I mean, he's running out of room now. Now I would love to be able to bring the rook over here to b7, but bishop would take. So I'll give him another check. He comes there. Give him a check again. He comes. Let's just take this bishop out. Don't want to complicate things. This pawn is not going anywhere, because I can just take with my queen. And if he does, and I take with the pawn, yeah, I lose a pawn, but big deal. Now he's running out of squares. Take. He's got to run again. Take again. take. He's got to come here. Now it's mate. So that was me against Stockfish level 2, and would have liked to have the original comments before, but so this is kind of like after. So anyway, okay, I guess this is good enough for Stockfish level 2, and then we'll see about maybe doing like a Stockfish level 3 in the next game. So let's just go ahead and turn off the recording.